Saya has dinner ready for you when you come home. She makes baths for you. She helps with miscellaneous housework. And she'll satisfy any sexual demand without being too slutty about it. Truly, Saya would be the perfect waifu, if not for the fact that she is actually a hideous monster that resembles a morphing pile of severed meat. Luckily for Fuminori, his illness makes Saya appear to him as a normal, cute, semi-loli. Saya is not merely the perfect waifu, however. She also possesses many traits that could be considered godlike. Because of this, Saya would be an extremely strong reflection of true God, if not for two things: her hideous form and the fact that she is against humanity instead of for it. As we're about to explore, Saya no Uta is a work that is extremely articulate of the otaku identity. However, this is the otaku identity as viewed from a lens where a few crucial traits have actually been swapped out for traits that are the complete opposite. What we end up with is a perspective on the otaku identity as it may be seen from the vantage point of a self-fearing or self-loathing otaku. First, let's explore the ways that Saya is a strong reflection of true God. The first godly trait of Saya is the way in which she can morph. Now, if we are to take our good friend Adonai, specifically his vanilla Yahweh form, he is famously and iconic. His form is never shown. Even his full actual name is not known. As he says in Exodus, "You cannot see my face, for no one can see me and live." Therefore, by never revealing a form, Yahweh is essentially formless, and can therefore treat his identity as anything. In other words, he can shapeshift freely. This is very different from Saya, who clearly has consistency to her form and doesn't mind being seen at all. In fact, before meeting Fuminori, Saya would even enjoy showing her form to hospital patients in the middle of the night. It strongly implies that while Saya has the ability to squash, stretch, and warp her form freely, certain traits never change, such as her overall mass. Her breast size, for example, is implied to be out of her influence. This actually makes her morphing ability lower in some ways than some other true God reflections. The next trait is one that can be seen in almost every moe character, even if it can be a little hard to perceive in many characters. Since, in some cases, it may only be manifesting as intangible traits, such as an abnormal amount of emotional independence. That trait is when a traditionally feminine character possesses contradictory masculine traits that would normally be expected to undo the feminine traits they possess. Saya's femininity I already touched on, being the way she acts like the ideal waifu for Fuminori. Saya is seen to be frail and weak when caught off guard, as shown in the scene where Fuminori's neighbor pins her down in a mad frenzy. Additionally, Saya is shown to possess quite the otome gokoro in the way in which she acts very endearingly to Fuminori, and takes to heart any romantic words from Fuminori. Another blatantly feminine detail, and one crucial to the identity of Saya's species, is her instinctual desire to collect semen in her body. On the other hand, we have Saya's masculinity, which blatantly peeks through here and there. The first notable example is Saya's hunting ability. While we know that Saya is weak when confronted with immediate brute force, Saya's body clearly has extremely lethal assassination skills, seen when she easily kills Omi and then later kills Koji. Saya is so good at hunting mammals that she suggests that she will handle procurement of 3 people's share of food when she and Fuminori and Yo move into the abandoned house. Fuminori even says, "I guess that means you'll be the provider from here, Saya," acknowledging Saya's ability to fill the masculine role of provider. Another, more blatantly masculine trait of Saya is actually part of her body itself. Due to Saya's ability to morph, Saya can actually form something closely resembling a large male penis, which can be seen when she uses it to rape Yo. This is one of the several ways in which Saya is almost a parody of the conventional moe character, an aspect I'll explore in more depth shortly. Instead of encapsulating masculine traits in an ultra-cute, hyper-feminine vessel, Saya is a disgusting, hermaphroditic monster. The most blatantly masculine trait of Saya, however, even more masculine than her ability to form a quasi-penis, is Saya's aggressive, ambitious instinct to deeply change other people and the world. Saya even describes this trait herself as her main instinct. Saya is extremely hungry for knowledge and intelligence, absorbing it at an utterly superhuman rate, all for the sake of understanding the world around her so that she can change it, a trait typically reserved for patriarchal conquerors or prophets. A trait that is central to the identity of True God is the way in which she is motherly. As I mentioned in the introduction, Saya is very much an ideal wife, effortlessly fulfilling all the tasks a good wife would be expected to in order to support her husband. She also shows a great interest in expanding her family with Fuminori, asking him how he would feel about Saya bearing his children, and then going out of her way to convert Yo into Fuminori's pet of sorts, the 3 of them considering themselves a family of 3 from that point on. The most important motherly trait of True God, and a trait that is seen to a very high degree in Saya, is the trait of being territorial. Saya is extremely territorial, and she expresses this in a few ways. When Saya mercilessly kills Omi, it can be assumed that she does so simply due to the fact that Omi entered into she and Fuminori's house without permission, unknowingly invading Saya's territory. Saya is also very keen on the notion of family, a concept tightly coupled with territory, as seen by the way she accepted Professor Ogai as Papa due to being raised by him. Saya also has no patience for Yo's romantic interest in Fuminori, acting extremely vindictively toward Yo in response, suggesting her strong grasp on the territorial aspect of marriage. In the ending where Saya heals Fuminori's illness and he checks himself into the mental hospital after, Saya tells Fuminori that she is going to try to find a way to return to her home dimension and planet, showing that she would rather return to the place of her own species than stay on Earth without a home. Finding a place where she belongs is obviously very important to Saya. Saya is blatantly saddened when Fuminori tells her that they have to move out of the house, as she developed a strong attachment to the house that was her home, even if it was her home only for several weeks. Finally, after meeting Fuminori, Saya never questions her ultimate fate of converting the world to her territory, optimistically looking forward to it when she hints at this destiny of hers to Fuminori. Now, with the ways in which Saya is a reflection of true God elaborated, let's observe the way in which Saya is the polar opposite of true God. The main theme binding all of Saya's traits that are contrary to true God is the notion of evil as opposed to good. With true God being firmly and absolutely good, Saya is firmly and absolutely evil. While true God is healing to the mind, even simply with the image of her form alone, Saya is damaging to the mind, even simply with the image of her form alone. And in Koji's ending, he is haunted by her to the point of severe depression long after Saya is dead. Saya even has the power to alter the mind to anything she knows how, even willingly inflicting Fuminori's condition on Fuminori's neighbor Suzumi, causing him to go insane and murder his wife and daughter. While true God protects people, Saya, as I have mentioned a few examples of, kills people. And of course, instead of saving the world, Saya ends the world, or at least ends what of it is any good to us humans. But the catch is that there is a perspective in which Saya isn't really the opposite of true God in these regards, but rather the same. That is the perspective of Fuminori. Due to his one-of-a-kind condition incurred by a terrible traffic accident in which he lost his parents and sustained heavy injuries, Fuminori's 5 senses changed drastically. He has become hypersensitive to anything and everything, the slightest flick of saliva from his friend's mouth being perceived as a heavy yolk-like substance, food being perceived as puke, and humans being perceived as grotesque monsters. Due to this, the world around him appears to him as a disgusting hellscape in the very archetypal death metal sense. The only thing that comes off pleasant to Fuminori is raw carnage, and though it is never explained exactly why carnage comes off pleasantly to Fuminori, it is probably due to the way in which it would naturally disgust Fuminori so badly that it overloads his newly hypersensitive senses, short-circuiting, so to speak, his senses, and perceiving something pleasant instead. While it is not addressed in great detail, it is stated that Fuminori could find nothing to eat that he didn't perceive as disgusting, meaning that even the raw meat sold at stores was likely disgusting to Fuminori, since packaged meat isn't typically perceived as carnage, but instead as food. Therefore, through possessing a horribly disgusting body that resembles a pile of morphing carnage, Saya is perceived as beautiful by Fuminori. To Fuminori, whose world has become a place of disgusting monsters and misery, Saya isn't insanity-inducing, but instead healing. Rather than murdering humans, Saya is protecting Fuminori from them. And rather than ruining the world, Saya is saving it. What Fuminori has done is he has rejected people and rejected the world, choosing instead to find solace in a girl who isn't even from the same universe we live in. This sounds strikingly similar to the way otaku have been painted at many points in history. Indeed, Fuminori is a perfect metaphor for an Oticism devotee when Oticism is seen as an evil. Just as being a devotee of true God will inspire otaku masculinity, Fuminori's devotion to Saya causes him to firmly embrace otaku masculinity. Leaving the in-depth definition of otaku masculinity for a talk in the near future, I will simply relate the ways in which Fuminori reflects otaku masculinity. Fuminori becomes extremely protective of his new family, willing to resort to murder, which he is okay with simply because he doesn't see it as murder, but rather monster extermination in order to protect that family. Fuminori also becomes polygamous, taking on Saya as his main wife and Yo as his additional wife. And most importantly, Fuminori embraces abandon, taking on threats head-on without fear for the risks, being willing to shoulder any burden. As seen in the final confrontation with Koji, when he doesn't even ask for Saya's help until she insists on helping. When we see the world from Fuminori's perspective, we can't help but relate to him, despite knowing that what he is doing is wrong. Urobuchi, either subconsciously or consciously, is laying this negative perspective of Oticism on the table, putting it in the most relatable form he can, and seeing what we make of it. But, despite all the oscillating the reader may do between rooting for Saya and condemning her, the punchline of Saya no Uta is this. Saya is in fact ultimately moral, the story reveals. In Professor Ogai's diary, he explains how Saya has such an amazing power to change the world, and yet she chooses not to use it unless she falls in love. Ogai, being a mad scientist sociopath, considers this to be an utter waste, as he regards the desire for love to be a defect. What Ogai does not understand is that Saya's desire for love is proof of her devotion to morality. If someone is to love Saya and give her the semen she needs for her body to understand DNA so that she may change the world, then that person is declaring that Saya is an inherently correct being. Saya conveys how Fuminori telling her that she is beautiful gave her the motivation to keep living and pursue her instinctual purpose. Saya understands that she is hideous, and before meeting Fuminori, she developed a hobby of scaring hospital patients by revealing herself to them. While this can be perceived as simple mischief, it makes more sense to assume that Saya is gaining a sense of what she is by gauging the way others react to her. By seeing the terror in their eyes, she knows that she is hideous and inherently does not belong on this planet. Saya's desire to specifically receive semen in a romantic manner indicates that she is only willing to carry out her instinctual duty to change the world if someone sees her, and therefore her new world, as beautiful. Unlike Professor Ogai, the only truly evil character in the game, Saya understands that love, beauty, and morality are all synonymous.